Democracy, Winnie the Pooh, the 1989 Tiananmen Square protests, death of PLA soldiers in Galwan. What is common in all these keywords? Well, if you search them on the Chinese internet, you can very well land yourself in hideous Chinese jails where your organs will be harvested and sold abroad to fill the coffers of the Chinese Communist Party. Thanks to Chinese censors, which have kept Jinping alive and kicking through all these tumultuous years of his brutal regime. But things are now going beyond the CCP's control. People are openly sharing the content that Jinping doesn't like or that he considers an existential threat to his power. And poor Xi Jinping can't even do anything about it, but just watch helplessly and whine in pain. Hi and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Sanbir, and in this video I will put forth the details on why the CCP seems perturbed after an anti-Xi article went viral, breaking the shackles imposed by the communist regime. Let's begin. Recently, an article that derided Xi Jinping went viral in China. It was a long, detailed, 40,000-word article that listed all mistakes that Jinping had committed over the past decade.
Hey, it's me, Atul. I started this channel. We started small, we went big. Suddenly, the whitey police was after us. We dodged and ducked, but the algos got us really bad. So we designed our own app. It's free. We never asked for money, we never will. But the droid called us too sensitive and blocked us. We still have an Apple app. Join us and fast, because if you don't, we will cease to exist. Check out the link in the description.
The commentary reviewed Xi's performance regarding his continuing campaign to eradicate independent religions and beliefs, human rights abuses, his tight surveillance and control over the people, enhancement of propaganda, further revision of children's textbooks and history books, the strengthening of state-run enterprises and suppression of the private sector, conflicts with the Western world, and winning over developing countries by squandering the national treasury. The author revealed how Jinping might not be able to secure a third term, citing rising concerns of infighting within the Communist Party. The year 2022 will be his biggest turning point, the author wrote. Even if he miraculously secures another term, he will face more difficulties and complete failure before 2027. The article further mentioned that a good lot of CCP officials don't like Jinping's leadership and have started opposing the government due to the expunging campaign style he employs. In the end, the article mentioned three factors that could cause the collapse of the Jinping regime. Number one, achievements claimed by Xi are fabricated and they could be exposed anytime now. Number two, the political foundation of his authority has been destroyed. And number three, the entire CCP bureaucracy is opposed to Xi Jinping and his handful of supporters. The article was published on an overseas Chinese blog on January 19th under the pen name of Ark and China and was titled Evaluate Xi Jinping Objectively. As soon as the article breached China's firewall and entered into Chinese social media, it was running a riot, to be precise. People read it, started sharing it on social media with their friends and relatives. Following its ubiquitous style, the CCP tried to censor the article in every way possible but failed miserably. Chinese youth, well versed with Chinese censorship tactics, have devised various ways to bypass the CCP's surveillance mechanism. And then there are several vested anti-Jinping factions within the CCP that must have played a role in augmenting the article's reach among the Chinese masses. Kai Xia, a former professor of political ideology at the CCP's Central Party School, wrote in an article published on February 6th that CCP officials are using all their resources and solutions to block Xi from taking the next term. Xi further said that due to the cruelty and bloody infighting within the party, all senior officials understand the hidden rule, which is to choose a faction and fight for it without thinking about what's right or wrong. Factional fighting is on the rise in the CCP, and the viral article is the latest bomb that the anti-Xi factions have detonated. But this is not the first time that Jinping's rivals have come forward to expose his floundering economic and societal policies. In early February, TFI Global had reported how China's Peking University, WeChat, and Chinese media colluded against CCP to expose Jinping's all-failing economic policies. The report blasted Jinping for fighting a trade war with the US that will eventually end up hurting Chinese interests the most. Interestingly, the report got widely shared on Chinese media and WeChat, despite Chinese censors going all out to prevent people from reading it. Apparently, it was allowed to go viral at the behest of some anti-Jinping faction. The ongoing infighting in the CCP is tangible and holds the potential to unseat Xi Jinping by the end of this year. Various Chinese analysts are also saying that China could even become a democratic nation in the coming 8 to 9 months. Jinping spent the last 10 years in power, purging his rivals and executing his political opponents. However, nothing bodes well for the paranoid leader. Now, when he is at the cusp of facing a mutiny from his officials, his rivals have joined hands to make things worse for the repressive Chinese president.